I'll burn 1,000 moons just to light a single sun.
Hey, what's up guys, it is Psycho or Sam here and welcome back to another episode of C# tutorial in Unity guys. And today we're going to be looking at a system which is called Level Up. So we're going to be creating a rank up system for our players. And this is going to be you're going to be able to use this in single player games primarily because that's what I'm going to focus on. But with a little bit of modification done to the scripting, you're going to be able to implement this into the multiplayer games that you're creating as well. So it's going to work. And it should be flexible for every kind of system that you're creating, so it shouldn't be a problem. And if you need help with that, let us know in the comments down below. Perhaps I won't be able to help you as much, but a lot of people from my community do work on multiplayer games especially, so they are going to specifically be able to help you out with your multiplayer games. But I also want to thank you guys so much for all the support before we start this video, guys. We're at 9k subs right now, I guess. It was like 8,998 last time I checked, so we could say 9,000 is the same pretty much. So thank you guys so much for all the support. And if you enjoyed this video too, guys, let us know by commenting down below. And also leave a like, that really supports me a lot. And hit subscribe if you want to stay up to tune for new videos coming soon. And without further ado, let's get started with this video. So first and foremost, I just want to run you through the scene real quick here. So first and foremost, I just have a new basic scene that I have created in Unity. I just went to File and I created a new scene. So nothing specific, and you can see in my hierarchy I just have a main camera, a directional light, and we're going to be modifying that in just a bit. But before we do, I want to go ahead and add a game object called a plane. So I want to go to game object, 3D object, and then pick plane in here. And the reason I'm doing this is basically because I want to have a ground for my player to stand on. So we're going to be using this plane as a ground, and speaking of which, we're going to be calling this as a ground too. So I'm going to change the name of this to ground. So there we go. And yeah, we're pretty much done with this part. And you'll also see that I have a folder called Level Up. So this is going to be the directory that I'm going to use, which I will be locating my scripts into. And you don't really need this folder at all. And these two other folders aren't required as well. Actually, standard assets will be required because you're not going to have to, you're not forced to use what I'm using right now. But I am going to use the rigid body FPS controller, which is always coming by Unity. And it's a free FPS controller basically, so it's like a player script. And yeah, so basically I'm just going to be using that. And if you don't know how to import it, you basically just right click inside of your project tab, go to import package and pick characters. That's it, and it will start importing. You can pause the video if you haven't already, and you can still continue after that. But once again, you're not forced to use it. The only important thing you do is actually following the coding. And speaking of which, we're going to get started with this. So I'm going to right click here inside of my Level Up folder, and I'm going to pick create, then C# script, because we're obviously coding in C#. And I'm going to call this Level Up just to make it easy. And I'm also going to drag this script. Oh, and also I didn't add a player, sorry. So I'm going to search rigid body FPS controller inside of my project tab, drag it and drop it into my scene. And let's see the capsule collider so we can see the height of the player. Should be fine. There we go. And I'm also going to delete the main camera that the scene comes up with. I forgot to do that. I'm a little bit clumsy today. I don't know why. But basically, I'm just going to delete this main camera from my scene because I don't really need it, because we actually do get a main camera with the rigid body FPS controller. So as soon as you put it into your scene, you're gonna get it. But if you already have a player prefab inside of your scene, you obviously don't need to follow these steps. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And now next up, I want to rename rigid body FPS controller game object to player, just so that we know what the player looks like. And inside of the inspector, I also want to click on add component and search Level Up. Level Up, there we go. So now I have added my component that I recently created. I also want to clear this real quick, there we go. And now I do have the component, so I can just basically open it up and it's going to launch up with Visual Studio. So we're just gonna wait a little bit for that. It should be fine because I always do open it up before I start the recording or the shooting, whatever. And the reason to that is basically because I don't want to have long waiting times under my video. So I just want to have it like real fast. It just opens up and I can start coding. So yeah, here we are in Visual Studio. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit so that you can see it easier. It's actually a little bit distracting for me to have this like this much zoomed in. If you realize from my previous videos, I have it really zoomed out. Like I really like the panned out effect that it gives. But yeah, like it's obviously easier to see when it's zoomed in on a video, so you're obviously wanting to follow the video normally, so that's fine. But all right, so without further ado, I want to get started with the scripting part. So first and foremost, I'm gonna start off by, obviously you saw that I deleted the 2 main methods that come with the C# script. You can do that if you want to, but we're still going to be using them, but I just want to delete them for the case of, you know, teaching you guys how to actually rewrite these codes so that you actually memorize them. And so first and foremost, I want to throw in a comment here, so I'm just gonna double click on slash, right slash, there we go. So I also want to write let's see, variables, and then hit enter a few times, and then here just write methods. There we go. So this is going to help a little bit with the organization of the code. You're going to be able to find whatever you're searching for very easily. So when I say I'm going to go back to the variables section, you're going to understand that I'm going back to the variables, and which is pretty much the top of the script. And then when I say I'm going back to the methods section now and going to void update or whatever, you're going to understand that it's beneath methods comment. So it's pretty much like an easy way of organizing a very unorganized video because obviously I don't have like a pitch or anything, so I'm just doing it off of top of my head. So but yeah, so we're going to start off by creating a few variables, and the first one is going to be public float level. So this is going to be the current level that the player is located at. So we're gonna have it as set to 1 at the start of the game, which we're gonna do as soon as possible. But first, I just wanna get going with variable creation and then see how it goes. And I also wanna say public float. Actually, this could be private float experience. There we go. And then one last one that I want to create for the moment being is private float experience required. So experience is basically going to be the current experience that the player has, and the experience required variable is going to be used for the amount of experience that the player is, like the amount of experience that is required for the player to hit the next level. So now inside of methods, I want to start by void start. There we go. And void update. So these are, you know, 1 by 1. So these are not inside of each other. And if you're like really new to Unity, let me know in the comments down below. Or actually, even if you're experienced with Unity, let me know in the comments down below if you feel like this is way too fast. Because I've seen that a lot of people were like, well, this is a little bit too much newbie friendly. So I'm trying to adapt with the speed and trying to keep these videos shorter, or actually the same length, but to like I'm just trying to include more context. So let me know if you feel like this is way too fast for you, and I will try to adapt. Like let me know your feedback, like always. Just let me know whenever you want. And you can do that easily by commenting in the comment section down below, basically. So yeah, and we're also going to say void level up. There we go. So void, oh, and I can't call this level up because we already have the script named level up, which is a class name here, public class level up. So instead of void level up, we're gonna call it rank up. Or actually just, nah, rank up should be fine. It should be better because it's gonna be a little bit easier to understand what I mean when I say void rank up instead of void level. It's gonna be like, what? So it should be fine. And instead of void start, guys, we're gonna say level is equal to 1. So this is going to set the level to 1 as soon as we start the game, which is basically means that the player is going to have level 1 as soon as it starts the game, and then from there obviously he's going to get going. And we're also going to set experience to 0. So the default value for experience is anyway going to be 0, but just to make sure that the game doesn't bug out for any reason, or maybe like I make a stupid mistake, this is going to basically prevent experience from being higher or greater than 0 and actually lower than 0 too. So that's just a fine way of, once again, organizing a very unorganized code as well. So just make sure to include it there. It's not going to hurt your game. It's actually just going to help you out. So what I thought of doing is basically that I will show you how to use these methods correctly in order to give the experience to the player, and then actually do rank up the player. And I will also show you guys how to give some certain items when he hits the specific level, and how to give like extra much HP and stuff like that. So you know, obviously these variables and these methods are not going to be limited at all to any of these events that I create. So if you have like enemy killing, NPC interaction in your game, you can always use these methods in order to implement this rank up system pretty much into your game too, and use it however you wish to. And I'm going to show you, it's pretty much going to be the same way of how I use it and how I actually manage the what's it called, the variables and the methods that I do create. So you're going to be able to do the same by using them in your own scripts and creating the API, etc. So it's really going to be easy, but it's still, I am going to describe to you guys how I am doing it and what I am actually doing. And if you need any help, let me know in the comments down below and I'll hit you back up. So I also want to have a new void called void exp. There we go. I may change the name from exp to something more convenient, but at the moment I'm just gonna keep it as exp in order to have it like a placeholder, so that I like exp basically stands for experience if you didn't know, but I just want to have it as a placeholder. Maybe I do want to go with exp name, so I don't know, like I'll see in the future of this video. But for now I want to go back to the variables section once again underneath the variables that I have created here in the variable section. And what I want to do here is I want to say public variable or public float HP. So this is going to be the HP of the player. This is only going to be for testing purposes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw another comment here and say for testing purposes on my video. So this is only going to be for showing you guys or showcasing for you guys how you can actually increase the health, experience, or stamina, or whatever, like armor, items, etc. of the player by leveling up the player. So I'm just going to use this as an example. And yeah, should be fine to go. So I'll see if I have to come back here and test something out. But for the moment it should be fine. So what we're gonna do next is I am going to call the exp methods here. So I'm just gonna write exp opening parentheses and then closing parentheses. So experience. Let's see if this works out. It should work out because yeah. Okay, so instead of experience, I am going to use the name instead of the name exp, I am going to use the name experience. Just like the variable name, but with a, well, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to understand. Maybe it's going to be like, well, what does it mean when it says experience? So whatever. I will just keep it as exp. I'm sorry for the inconvenience here, but I just want to make it easy for you guys. So why I'm doing this is basically because I want to have these two methods that are going to be created by me. And then inside of your void update, you're just going to enter the exp method. Like this line is what you're going to paste into your whatever code you're using in order to give the players some experience, and you're going to be able to do it. So obviously there's going to be a little bit more than that, but we're going to get into that right now. So I guess we could just go to void exp and say if experience is greater than or equal to experience required, rank up. There we go. So we're just calling the method. This is basically going to check if our experience, the current experience of the player, is greater than or equal to the experience required by the player to level up. We're going to call the rank up function, and then we're going to level up the player inside of here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to void rank up now and say let's see here, level plus equal 1, experience is equal to 0. So what this is going to do is basically it's going to put level to whatever it is plus 1. So if you're level 2, it's going to put level to 3, basically leveling up the player. And then experience is going to be set to 0. And the reason why we're doing this is basically if we have like experience 100, it's obviously going to be bugging out in case we have like experience required 100, so we probably want to reset the current experience so that we can reach 100 experience that is required for us to rank up once again, instead of having to level up 2 times just because of the bug. So just set experience to 0. You can actually have like a workaround and set the required experience to a higher amount, but I was thinking that I could do it a little bit more simple for ourselves. So we're gonna go with this system, but if you wanna, not use experience equal to 0, obviously you can go with that too. So it's fine by me. Like, I am granting you the access, I guess. All right. So, and also, if you like, inside of void rank up, you can actually say you can enter your like specific levels that you want to give the player an item, etc. inside of here. So you can say switch level, and then inside of the switch, you can basically say, let me see here. There we go. Case 1 break, and HP is equal to, well, first and foremost, let's go to void start and set HP to, let's say 100. So we're gonna have the player, or we're gonna give the player 100 HP as soon as the game starts. And when the player hits level 2 or level 1, well, actually this should be 2 then, because we obviously want to hit level 2. So when player hits level 2, if in case player hits level 2, we're gonna have HP to 200 instead. And also, one more thing that I want to change before we continue, I want to go back to variable section and public float level. I am just going to change the float to integer. There we go. So switch is not going to work with the float because the decimals are not going to be registered, so it's going to kind of like throw an error out. So if you're receiving that error, just change the public float level to public integer level, int level. So that should be fine. I'm going back to the methods section and inside of my void rank up. So basically, you can see that I really like simply just created a case here, which is basically in case level 2 is hit, then we're gonna have HP is equal to 200 instead of 100, which is what we start off the player with. So this is going to be like the maximum health is increasing or something like that. And you can do this for multiple things. Like I can say case 3, meaning if player hits level 3, we're gonna have HP is equal to 300, and we're gonna say print congratulations, you have hit level 3 on your character. There we go. So inside of here, inside of these cases that you're creating, depending on what number you also have, you can always spawn an item, you can give the item to the player, you're going to be able to print something like I'm doing here, you're going to be able to increase the attributes of the player, stamina, energy, building, whatever attributes that you want to create, or enable, disable, whatever. And you can also give the player some skills like crafting, etc, etc. So there are really no limits to this, but I'm just showing you the basics and the parts that are required for this to actually work, and the parts that are required for you to change in order to actually grant these accessibilities to the player. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to create like a really simple method for the player to gain some experience. So I'm going to go back to void update here, and underneath experience function that I was calling at the top of void update, I'm going to say if input.getKey down key code.e, let's see, we should just say experience plus equal 100. There we go. So basically, if the player, as soon as we enter the game now, if the player clicks on E on his keyboard, he's going to get 100 experience. And this is basically the code or the line that you're going to be able to use for whenever you want to give the player some experience. So basically, I'm just like gonna throw some comments in here so that you can keep an eye out for these lines. But before that, I just want to go back to the game, go back to Unity and test this out to make sure that it works out fine. So let's see. Oh, and it has loaded. I was waiting for level up script to load the variables, but I forgot that I made some private floats. So I was waiting for them to load. You can see that we are leveling up automatically right now. So I'm gonna see here. Oh, we didn't set experience required to something. So if you're getting this bug too, it's basically because you haven't set experience required to something else. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to void rank up, and instead of the switch case system that I created, I am going to say, instead of case 2, I'm gonna say experience required is equal to 200, and these are testing values, so you can always edit these. And instead of case 3, I'm gonna say experience required is equal to 300. And at start, void start, we're gonna say underneath experience, we're gonna say experience required required is equal to 100. So this is going to set the experience required to 100 as soon as we start a game, and then as soon as we level up and have level 2, experience required is going to be set to 200, and then case 3, level 3, is going to be set to 300. So this is going to work out fine. So we just go back to Unity and we can play the game and see how it works out. There we go, and we're starting at level 1, we have 100 HP. Now I'm clicking the E key on my keyboard, and you can see that I hit level 2 automatically and have HP 200 in the inspector if you're looking in there. And you'll realize that we haven't really had anything in the console pop up right now because we haven't hit level 3 yet. So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna click E once more, and you'll realize that we're not leveling up right now because we basically have 100 experience right now. Because if you remember correctly, I can go back to the code and show you guys too. Basically we have experience required set to 300 instead of or actually experience required to 200 in order to level up to level 3, and we only grant 100 experience per click to the players. So I just go back to Unity, I have clicked once, and I click one more time, and you'll realize I leveled up once again. So now I'm at level 3, I have 300 HP, and in the console you can see, congratulations, you have hit level 3 on your character. So that's pretty much it. And it's really just an easy way of doing this. And as a final, as a conclusion to this video, guys, I just want to show you, or throw in some comments in order to make it easy for you guys. So you're gonna need these 3 lines. The first 3, actually you can use this whole script, so it's gonna be a lot more easy for you. But basically what I can do for you is, actually I was thinking you're probably going to implement this into your player script, so it shouldn't be a requirement for any comments. But basically what you want to do is you just want to use you just want to create the void update, which is going to probably be included in your script anyway, and you just want to call experience instead of void update. So every time, anytime, you just want to call experience, and just make sure you have these two these two functions, which is void rank up and void experience, in case you're not using this script. I would suggest you to use this script and then just call this void update through this script from another script. But if you don't want to do that, and if you want to make it a little bit more difficult for yourself, just copy paste and it should be fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate your presence here. And once again, thank you so much for 9K subscribers. I mean, we're almost at 10K, and it's I can still not believe that we're actually reaching that number. I remember for a year ago, I was at 1,000 subs or so, and I was like, wow, 10K, 10 times 1K, and we're gonna be able to reach that number. It's gonna take a long time because it took 1 year to reach 1,000 or something like that. I don't remember. And I was like, wow, it's gonna take a long time. And now the channel is literally blowing up, and I'm like, well, we're almost at 10,000. So thank you guys so much for all the support. And I was planning on making a Q&A video, maybe a face reveal video, one of these cringy videos for my 10K celebration or whatever. But let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions regarding my 10K special video. I don't want to make a montage because it's gonna be a little bit it's not gonna be really good because I'm not really that kind of guy. I don't make these type of videos that I can make montages of. If I was making gameplay videos, I could make funny moments like PewDiePie does. But I'm not really that kind of guy, and my videos aren't suited for that. So I was planning that I could make a face reveal. I mean, I don't know, a day in my life or whatever, and maybe even a specific tutorial release an asset, I don't know, like something crazy. But something crazy has to happen, guys. That's a requirement that I set for this channel. So anyway, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below in the face. It really supports my channel a lot. These likes really do feed me. They are greater than food to me. And leave a comment if you have any feedback, if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see covered in the next tutorial. Let it be like a whole game, or let it be just a C# tutorial system tutorial. There we go. And just like in this video, so I could just cover up a system, or I could actually start making like a game and teach you guys how to make that game. I was planning on like a 2D game, but yeah. So I'm gonna kind of like move or take my steps like depending on your comments, basically, because I want you guys to enjoy the videos. So let me know if you have any feedback. Let us know what you think of this video. If you have your own C# tips and tricks, let us know in the comments down below. I could also take use of that. And yeah, subscribe if you want to stay up to date for new videos coming soon, and I'll catch you guys in the comments down below. See y'all, guys. Love you. Bye.